Melting point is the temperature where a substance will change from solid to liquid at a certain pressure. Nuclear number is the total number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. Proton number is the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom. Isotopes are atoms of the same elements with the same proton numbers but different nuclear numbers. Valence electrons are the electrons in the outermost electron shell. Relative atomic mass of an element, I should bring this up actually. Electron shell. Relative atomic mass of an element is the number of times one atom of the element is heavier than 1/12 of the mass of carbon-12 atom. 1 mole is the amount of any substance which contains 6.02 times 10 to the power 23 of particles, where 6.02 times 10 to the power 23 is called Avogadro's number, or the Avogadro's constant, Na. Molar mass is the mass of 1 mole substance in gram. Unit for molar mass is gram mole -1, power -1. Molar volume is the volume occupied by 1 mole of any gas. Unit for molar mass is dm cubed mole power -1. Empirical formula is the chemical formula that shows the simplest ratio of the numbers of atoms of each element in a compound. Example, empirical formula of glucose is CH2O. Molecular formula is the chemical formula that shows the actual number of atoms of each element found in a molecule of a compound. Example, molecular formula, I should turn on my mic. Molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6. Groups. The vertical columns in the periodic table of elements. Periods. The horizontal rows in the periodic table of elements. Atmospheric oxide. An oxide with both acidic and basic properties. Semi-metals / metalloid. Element with both metallic and non-metallic properties. Transitional elements are elements placed in group 3 to 12 in the periodic table of elements. What's this emoji? Sleeping already Ionic bond is formed when metal atom transfers electrons to non-metal atom. Covalent bond is formed when non-metal atoms share electrons to achieve stable duplet or octet electron arrangement. Hydrogen bond is attraction forces between hydrogen atoms H that has bonded with an atom of high electronegativity such as nitrogen and oxygen O or fluorine F, with nitrogen and oxygen O or fluorine F in another molecule. Dative bond or coordinate bond is a type of covalent bond where the electron pair that is shared comes from one atom only. Metallic bond is formed when the sea of electrons, delocalized electrons, are attracted to the positively charged metal ions with electrostatic force of attraction. H2. Acid is a chemical compound which ionizes / dissociates in water to produce hydrogen ions, H+ or hydrosonium ion, H3O+. Example, hydrochloric acid, aqueous state, becomes H+ aqueous state plus chlorine negative aqueous state. Or hydrochloric acid, aqueous state plus water, okay, becomes H3O plus chlorine negative. Alkali ion is a chemical compound which ionizes / dissociates in water to produce hydroxide ion, OH negative. Example, sodium hydroxide aqueous state becomes sodium positive plus hydroxide negative, both in aqueous state. NH3 plus H2O becomes NH4 plus OH minus. Base is a chemical compound that can react with acid to form salt and water only. All oxides and hydroxides metals are bases. A base that dissolves in water is called an alkaline. An acid ionizes / dissociates in water, producing one hydrogen ion, H+, is called a monoprotic acid. Example, HCl becomes H+ plus Cl negative. An acid ionizes / dissociates in water, producing two hydrogen ion, H+, is called a diaprotic acid. Example, H2SO4 becomes 2H positive plus SO4 2 minus. An acid ionizes / dissociates in water, producing 3 hydrogen ion, H+ is called triprotic acid. Example, H3PO4 becomes 3H plus PO4 3 negative. pH is a logarithmic measurement towards the concentration of hydrogen ions in an aqueous solution. Formula: pH equals negative log bracket H plus. Can you read that yourself? The pH scale is a scale of number to measure the degree of acidity or an alkalinity of an aqueous solution based on the concentration of hydrogen ions or hydroxide ions. The higher the concentration of hydrogen ion H plus in acid, the lower the pH value. The higher the concentration of hydroxide ions OH negative, the higher the pH values. Concentration of solution is the quantity of solute in a given volume of solution, which is usually 1 dm cube of solution. Concentration of solution equals mass of solute in grams over volume of solution in dm cube. Concentration of solution also equal to number of mole of solute in mole over volume of solution in dm cube. Concentration of solution in mole dm cube is known as molarity. From gram dm power negative 3, you divide molar mass to become mole dm negative 3. And for mole dm negative 3, you times molar mass and it becomes gram dm negative 3. Standard solution is a solution which its concentration is accurately known. Neutralization is the reaction between acid and base to form salt and water. The endpoint is the point in the titration at which the acid-base indicator changes color, which means the acid added neutralizes the alkali completely. Salt is an ionic compound formed when the hydrogen ion H plus from an acid is replaced by a metal ion or an aluminium ion, NH4 plus. Rate of reaction is the change in the amount of reactants or products per unit time. Average rate of reaction is the rate of reaction over an interval time. Instantaneous rate of reaction is the rate of reaction at a specific time. Next page. Effective collision is the collision that results in the chemical reaction. Effective collisions occur when the reactant's particles collide at the correct orientation, or the reactant particle possesses energy that equal or more than the activation energy, EA. Activation energy, EA, is the minimum energy that the reactant particles must have before the collision can result in chemical reaction. Catalyst is a chemical that changes the rate of chemical reaction without undergoing any chemical changes at the end of the reaction. Alloy is a mixture of two or more elements where the major component is a metal. Composite material is material made from combining two or more non-homogeneous substances that is a matrix substance and strengthening substance. 4 different ways to define oxide and reduction. Oxide is a chemical reaction in which a substance gains oxygen, while reduction is a chemical reaction in which a substance loses oxygen. Oxidation is a chemical in which a substance loses hydrogen, while reduction is a chemical reaction in which a substance gains hydrogen. Oxidation is a chemical reaction in which a substance loses electron, while reduction is a chemical reaction in which substance gains electron. Oxidation is a chemical reaction in which a substance undergoes an increase in oxidation number, while reduction is a chemical reaction in which a substance undergoes a decrease in oxidation number. An oxidizing agent oxidizes a substance. It is reduced in the redox reaction. A reducing agent reduces a substance. It is oxidized in the redox reaction. Cation electrical series is an arrangement of metals according to their tendencies to release electrons to form a positive ion, cation. Displacement of metal is a reaction in which a less electropositive metal is displaced from its salt solution by a more electropositive metal. Displacement of halogen is a reaction in which a less electronegative halogen is displaced from its halide solution by a more electronegative halogen. Electrolyte is a substance that can conduct electricity in an aqueous state or a molten state and undergoes chemical changes when electricity passes through it. Non-electrolyte is a substance that cannot conduct electricity in all states, solid, aqueous solution, or molten state. Electrolysis is a process whereby an electrolyte is in aqueous solution and molten state is decomposed to its constituent elements, which when electric current passes through it. What is constitute? And we're searching up together. Whole, being a part of a whole. Okay. But no. Okay. The reactivity series of a metal is the arrangement of metals in the order of their reactivity towards oxygen. Carbon compound is a compound that contains carbon, C, as one of its elements. That makes sense. An organic compound is a compound found in, produced by, or derived from living organisms. Organic compound contains carbon as one of its major elements. The combustion products of organic compounds are carbon dioxide and water. Examples: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. An inorganic compound is a compound formed in materials or non-living things. Example of an inorganic compound: carbonate salts, calcium carbonate, CaCO2, 3, zinc carbonate, ZnCO3, manganese carbonate, MgCO3, carbon dioxide, CO2, and carbon monoxide, CO. Next page and last page. Okay, that's TV now. A hydrocarbon is an organic compound that contains only carbon, C, and hydrogen, H atoms. A saturated hydrocarbon is a hydrocarbon that has only single covalent bond between carbon atoms. An unsaturated hydrocarbon is a hydrocarbon that has double or triple covalent bonds between the carbon atoms. A homologous series is a family of organic compounds with the same functional group with similar chemical properties, but each member differs from the next one in the series by a fixed unit of structure. Isomerism is a phenomenon whereby two or more compounds are found to have the same molecular formula but different structural formulae. Fancy. Okay. Isomers are compounds with the same molecular formula but different structural formula. Yes, phenomenon. Saturated fatty acid is a fatty acid that contains only single covalent bonds between the carbon atoms.
Fatty.
Example: palmitic acid, CH3, CH bracket CH2 bracket 14 bracket COOH. Stearic acid, CH3 bracket CH2 bracket 16 COOH. Unsaturated fatty acid is a fatty acid that contains double covalent bonds between the carbon atoms. Example: linoleic acid, CH3 bracket CH2 bracket 4 CH equals CH2 CH equals CH bracket CH2 bracket 7 COOH. Oleic acid, CH3 bracket CH2 bracket 7 CH equals CH bracket CH2 bracket 7 COOH. Exothermic reaction is a chemical reaction that releases heat to the surroundings. The temperature of the reaction mixture increases. The heat given off during bond formation is greater than the heat absorbed for bond breaking. The energy conversion is from chemical energy to heat energy. Endothermic reaction is a chemical reaction that absorbs heat from the surroundings. The temperature of the reaction mixture decreases. The heat absorbed for bond breaking is greater than the heat released during bond formation. The energy conversion is from heat energy to chemical energy. Heat of precipitation. Rate of change is of H. Okay, triangle H is the energy change when 1 mole of precipitate is formed from the ions. Heat of displacement. Triangle H is the energy change when 1 mole of metal is being displaced from its salt solution by a more electropositive metal. Heat of neutralization. Triangle H is the heat given off when 1 mole of hydrogen ion H plus reacts with 1 mole of hydroxide ion OH negative to form 1 mole of water H2O. Heat of combustion. Triangle H is the heat given off when 1 mole of substance burned completely in excess of oxygen. A polymer is long-chained molecules that is made from a combination of many repeating basic units called monomers. Vulcanization is a process of producing rubber that is more elastic with better quality through the production of crosslinks between polymer chains. Synthetic rubber is a synthetic polymer that is elastic in nature or an elastic polymer. Oils and fats are esters produced through the reaction between fatty acids and glycerol. Propan, 1,2,3, triol. Soap is a sodium or potassium fatty acid salt. Fatty acid reacts with a concentrated alkali. Detergent is sodium salt of sulfonic acid, alkali sulfonic acid, alkylbenzyl sulfonic acid reacts with sodium hydroxide solution. Hard water is a water that Hard water is a water that contains calcium ions Ca2+ and magnesium ions Mg2+. Food additive is a natural or synthetic ingredient added to food to prevent damage or to improve its appearance, taste, or texture. Medicines are chemicals used to help with the treatment of prevention of disease. These nuts, that is. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks, bye.